Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. Hello, guys. How's it going? Justin, Elijah. We are doing a movie review for the movie that just came out on VOD. It's Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Stars a lot of people, but the main people that you're gonna know is Maria Bakalova, who's an Oscar-nominated supporting actress from Bruno
That's
to not to
crazy.
even
I
attempt.
forgot she was nominated
Yeah,
for an Oscar. Good for her.
and also like probably like the main star power in it is Pete Davidson. That's
Hmm.
also in it, and Lee Pace. There's a lot of
Yeah, Lee
people.
Pace.
Also Rachel Sennott,
There we
who was
go.
in one of the funniest movies of last year that I loved, was Shiva Baby. Yeah, this movie is kind of like a who done it. I don't really know how to describe this movie too well. I mean, like, it's just a bunch of like rich, snobby 20 somethings who go to this hurricane party that's
Hmm.
at Pete Davidson's parents' house, and they play a game called Bodies, 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 and somehow, some way, one of them ends up murdered, or are they murdered? We don't know. This is going to be a spoiler review, so I think that
Yeah,
Elijah and I are going to just give our quick thoughts of if we liked it or not, and then
right.
just go straight into the insanity of what this movie is.
Yeah.
So Elijah, what did you think about this movie? Did you like it?
Yeah. I briefly talked about it on one of our episodes, but it was one of those movies where I had a weird taste in my mouth when I was walking out of it
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, it's a lot. Like the characters are really hyperbolic in a way, but that's what it is. Like you said, I think in your review, you said it's a proper satire of the generation that is growing up. Like what is it? What is the right word? Growing up really privileged in a way,
Mm-hmm.
and like they're so like closed off to reality in the world. It seems like it's in that bubble of almost people that I don't know because it's so like they're high class.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very very out
We
there,
should
and
be happy that we don't know these. We don't know too many of these kinds of people.
yeah, if you have friends like these, get out. Like
Yeah.
these, they use a lot of buzzwords that are really relevant on the internet, which I think is awesome because there are people who talk like that.
Mm-hmm.
They say triggered a lot. They say a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. But like I had a bad taste in my mouth walking. Not a bad, but a weird taste in my mouth walking out of it. And then as I was driving home, and by the time I was talking to Justin about it, the more I thought about it, the more I talked about it, the more I liked it because it's one of those movies where I was like, I think I'm going to enjoy myself the more I see this movie because I only saw it once in theaters and it made me
Mm-hmm.
want, like, I'm talking about it now. I really want to see it again because I think it's just going to be even better on the second viewing
Yeah.
because it is a big mystery throughout the entire movie.
Uh-huh.
There's these, all these answers that you want answered or all these questions that you want answered. And yeah, I think seeing it multiple times is really going to be satisfying. And that's one of the great things about good movies. So I liked it a lot, actually. I liked it more than I thought I would.
Same. Yeah, no, I actually watched it twice because like the ending of this movie is such a fucking shock. Like
Yeah.
when you find out what happens,
Yeah.
it really changes everything. But no, I loved it for many reasons. And one of the main reasons that a lot of people did not like about it, which I think is funny because it's a lot of people that are of this generation they're making fun of who don't like it because of the characters are all unlikable. They don't want to spend an hour and a half with them. But
Yeah.
I think the reason why I read a lot of reviews on IMDb, like just like the reviews that audiences, because this movie has a pretty low audience score,
Hmm.
and it's because a lot of these people don't want to see themselves like this. They want
Yeah.
to see themselves like Pete Davidson's other movies, like Bedtime Adolescence
Yeah. They
or
want
The
us to
King
look
of Staten
cool.
Island.
They want to look
Yeah,
cool and
like
like
you want to look a little unlikable, but you want to be
a little
redeemed.
redemptive. Yeah.
Yeah, but none of these characters, really, none of them have any redemptive qualities. Besides, the only person is Maria Bakalova's character
Right.
named
Because
Lee.
she's the outsider. She's being
She's
taken
the
in.
only, yeah, she's the only one that you could tell is middle class. There's this ongoing joke in this movie that Pete Davidson and Amandla Stenberg have, which is whose parents are richer,
Yeah.
and that just shows who these kinds of people are,
Yeah.
right then and there. Because Pete Davidson's house is fucking huge. His character's name is David, and it's a huge huge, ridiculously huge house. Like where like if you ask to use the bathroom, it's gonna take like a couple minutes for you to find the bathroom or to
Yeah.
even find your way back with the others. But I really, really like this movie. It's one of those pandemic movies you can tell was shot during the pandemic. It's got a low budget,
Hmm.
but it's just they did it very well where like they wrote these characters very well and they set up what is like with this mystery so very well that you get very intrigued in it and you're wrapped up in it, and when you find out what actually happens, it's just it changes everything where it makes you already don't like these characters, but by the
Right.
time it's revealed, you're like all these guys got what they deserved because
Yeah.
they are all so fucking stupid.
It's pretty wild. Yeah. Like we said, this is
So
a spoiler review, so that's how we
yeah.
feel. Oh, my voice cracked. That's
Ooh.
how we feel overall about the movie. And now, if you don't want anything spoiled, we're gonna get into specifics about everything that happens in the movie. There's the ending. I'll say is kind of like a twist, but at the end, you kind of this. It's like the ending is a solution to all of the problems of just being like Justin said, all of these people, none of the characters really, they don't spend time trying to have a redemption arc. All everything
Yeah.
is happening so fast,
Uh-huh.
and it's yeah. Do you want to talk about what?
Oh, gladly.
So, spoiler alert: Pete Davidson is the first one to die,
Hmm.
and by the end of it, there's a solid explanation because everyone's like, "Well, who killed him?" Because he gets his throat slit or something. I think his
Yeah.
throat is slit,
His
and
throat his throat is stabbed with the machete that his dad owns.
yeah. So, how did that happen? What happened, Justin? How did this happen?
So like in order to like really like you know, so they're all like yeah, this is spoilers. So I mean
Yeah, yeah. From
I
here on
really
out,
like please like you should watch the movie
and if you have watched it,
before but
yeah,
so if it, like the best part about this entire movie is that the ending is a total fuck you
yeah,
where it you like they Pete Davidson killed himself by doing a fucking TikTok,
yeah.
trying to do mimic this thing that Lee Pace's character does because he has such a he's in this competition with the one only other male figure in this
Yeah, the
party.
other alpha male. He's
Yeah,
aggressively jealous and competitive with him
yeah,
with for no reason.
for
Just the
absolutely
fact
no
that Lee
reason.
Pace, the character that Pace plays is just a cool guy.
Yeah,
He's just all
a
around cool.
genuine solid dude
Yeah.
who he's actually the
He's the
only
only
one.
good
Yeah,
guy.
him and Maria Bakalova are two of the only people that you actually genuinely feel sad for
Yeah.
both of them.
Yes.
More so for Greg, for Lee Pace. And
Yeah.
dude, oh my god, another one of my favorite lines of this movie is when Maria Bakalova, her character's name is B, when
Mhm.
she kills, they all assume Greg is the killer because they're all and I love the commentary of this entire thing, but they think that Greg's the killer because he is a war vet. And after it's not until after he's
Because
dead,
yeah, they believe that.
after they bashes his brains in, Rachel Sennott, who's dating Lee Pace, says like said, well, he's a boar vet. He's probably going through PTSD. She's like, what? No, he's a vet. He's a veterinarian.
I said he's a
Works,
vet, a veterinarian.
he works with animals. Oh my god, dude, I laughed so hard at that
There's
because
so
it's
much
just
miscommunication in this movie.
so much. And when people die too, that's another thing that I was reading about. People are complaining about. Like they're like people don't really react like this when their friends die. That's what the movie's about. These people are not friends. They may have grown up with each other, they may know each other, but they
Hmm.
are not friends. They are all on each other. They all hate each other. They all
Hmm.
despise each other. They want each other to fail.
Yeah.
And so when one dies, even when Greg, played by Lee Pace, dies, Rachel Sennott, who's dating him, she doesn't even really care. She's just kind of like
Hmm.
she of course she's freaked out by it, but I mean like she doesn't she's not like, oh my god, we just killed this innocent guy. Not at all. No one is. Like
Hmm.
every single character that dies, there's not a single part where people are like, oh my god, that just happened. Like
Right.
it's all for themselves. And they don't and then to make matters even worse at the end, which is like really it's another really funny thing, but it's also kind of disturbing. So there's this other character named Jordan, who's probably the most annoying character in my opinion. She's just despicable. Her name I'm gonna butcher is Myha'la Herrold. Hey, sorry about that. Um, Sorry, but she plays Jordan, and Jordan is already like Jordan and Sophie already have like some kind of history,
Hmm.
and Jordan reveals right before she dies that Sophie and her have slept together right before B and her go to the cabin.
Hmm.
So Jordan says literally right before she dies, check her phone, and instead of be worrying about like dying, like thinking
Right.
that Sophia like is a murderer, she just wants to see her phone to see if she was cheated on. So that's just another thing. It's just like these kids are insane.
Yeah.
There's so many dead bodies around you, and you're just worried about being cheated on.
Right.
And then she finds the phone, and it's not her phone; it's Pete Davidson's phone. Then that's when you find out what all this is about. All these
Yeah.
dead bodies
Everything got
around.
kicked off by an accident.
Yeah, and it's amazing. The clear like the best performance for me, and the best character who delivered the best lines was Rachel Sennott. I think that
Yes.
she is just a fucking amazing actress. Like through the whole podcast thing. Like she doesn't even like she hate listens to your podcast. She's like, you don't really understand. You have to get
Yeah.
guests. You have to make a Google calendar. It takes a long fucking time.
Yeah. That
And
hit me on
her
a personal level.
just her line delivery was so good. Like she delivers the dialogue like she's gonna win a fucking Oscar.
Right.
Like, and she's like the only character in the entire movie that is like the highest out of everybody. Like she keeps like taking like
Yeah.
Adderall and like snorting coke,
Yeah.
and so she's the one that's like majorly like ADD like a motherfucker, just like
Hmm.
looking around like, yeah, it's pretty funny. But I liked this movie a lot, and I liked how it wasn't just a regular slasher movie.
Hmm.
It was literally these people. You know what it also reminded me of, which is going to kind of sound conceited, but this is much better. But it reminds me of the film that me and my buddies did, From the Dark.
Hmm.
It's a similar thing where it's like it's not there's no killer,
Hmm.
there's not a slasher. These characters do this to themselves because they're so paranoid
Yeah.
and they're so fucked up, and they had no time to actually like just sit down and like think about what's going on. Instead
Yeah.
they immediately act, and they die one by one because of their own stupidity. They're basically killing themselves.
Yeah.
So like when I was watching it, I was like, I wanted my buddy Matt to watch it, but then I was like, damn, dude, like I actually don't want him to because because it's just like because that's what we wanted to do, but we
Hmm.
didn't have the opportunity because
Right.
other things happen. But yeah, I loved it. I would give it, if we're doing it out of 10, I would say an 8 out of 10. I really liked the movie.
Yeah, it's solid. Like you said, I love how like in a way it's rationalized of them not being able to process things because everything happens so fast, but every single one of the characters eventually gets revealed to have some sort of motive of history that would make them want to do this. And so as soon
Mhm.
as something happens, everyone just points the finger. And the whole point of the game Bodies is basically that of there's a killer and they have to like walk through the house at night and one of them gets killed and then they have to decide who it is through conversation and they get voted off one by one, and that's a big meta storyline in the movie as well of being like, well, who actually was the original killer in the beginning, and it kind of gets integrated in a good way. But like I said, is like everyone has a motive for killing someone and everyone has a paranoia for wanting to blame someone. Like Maria Bakalova's character gets blamed a lot because no one knows her,
Yeah. And she
and
also is the only person in front of everybody kills somebody as
that
well.
actually kills someone. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's a big factor too. So there's a lot of rationale behind a lot of the
Hmm.
choices, but there's also a lot of valid paranoia. Also, because they're all on a ton of drugs and drinking
Yeah,
a lot. But
exactly.
yeah, the fights in this are so funny. Everyone is like, it seems like everyone when they're arguing has to have. They're trying to be the most informed, and
Hmm.
they try to sound like they're the most informed when they're talking and accusing, and that ultimately makes them sound ridiculous
Yeah.
because
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like, hold
Yeah.
on, we're getting into like therapy level of like accusations where it gets under some people's skin, and Rachel Sennett I think has the best drop of it of trying to like guilt people because she has this one line that comes out of nowhere. She's like, all right, I think I have to be honest with you guys. Like, this is what I've been struggling with.
Hmm.
And she's like, I have body dysmorphia. And
That's right.
everyone's like, what the fuck, Alice? What the fuck are you talking about right now? Like, this is not a therapy session.
I
And
know.
so the movie is wonderfully bizarre and wonderfully satirical. And like, it's definitely a satire of like Scream, where you're just like, who did it the whole time? Like, it's got to be one of them. You know, it has to be one of them. So you try to put the pieces together, which makes you look like an idiot by the end, because you're like, I guess I'm just projecting a lot of things on these different characters of what they're presenting, but I guess I don't know them, because the movie jumps right in and you never really, really get to know any of the characters, because they all care so much about their appearance and how they act with each other. So that you can tell.
They all have like a facade. So like that's I really like that too, because you don't really get to know them because they don't even really know themselves.
Exactly. So the movie is very solid. You gave it an 8 out of 10. I would give it like a 7.8 out of 10. It's very good, and it's one of those movies that I want to rewatch again. And who knows, over time it could end up being an 8.5 or even a 9 as it ages, because it depicts, I don't know, is it Generation Z?
I would definitely say, I would say actually it's definitely more our generation. So like you and I, like I think we're in the beginning of Generation Z. Like we're like in the middle of millennial and Generation Z.
Right.
I'm sure like most of these characters and all these actors, they are around our age, a little bit younger.
Right. But I think they're playing like fresh out of college sort of thing. So like maybe like 3 years, 2 years, maybe 3 years younger than us.
Yeah.
Not sure. I don't know my age anymore. Anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I would give it like a 7. I think 7.8. I said so. 7.8 out of 10. It's very, very good. Probably can go up over time the more I see it, because I do want to see it again now. Yeah, let us know what you thought of that. That movie is solid. I'm glad that we were able to finally talk about it. It was one of the stories we talked about in our in-person episode, our one and only in-person episode. And I can see why A24 pitched it when it was announced as A24's version of Scream, because they definitely turned it on its head. And it's definitely a satire of Scream and that type of slasher movie done in a very solid way.
And like you can see why they said that now, because I do remember you and I talking about that, and we're like, why would you compare yourself to
right in the get-go? That's bad.
But now I get it. It's like it is a totally A24 version of what Scream was back in the day. You know? And the best, like I said, I think the best part is that they didn't go the full slasher genre. Like it's something like this movie is a lot more like realistic than what Scream is. You know, Scream is very meta, but it's also it's still a movie, you know, like a Bodies. I sound like Harry Styles right now.
It's a movie, you know?
but you know what I mean?
Like a movie.
But Bodies. Like I feel like I could like read something like this in the paper, like something like this happening, like a bunch of kids fucking end up killing themselves because they're just stupid, you know. And it all started with this guy making a TikTok. Like, even though it sounds ridiculous, that's something I believe could actually happen. Like nowadays, like that's another just sad truth that this movie has. And I think that it's genius. I think that they did a great job.
Good movie. Let us know what you thought. Give us a review out of 10 stars, because that's how we rate our movies.
Hell yeah.
Let us know what you didn't like. Let us know anything that resembles that. I don't know. We liked Bodies, and we hope you did too.
Bing.
Check out our full episodes on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, anywhere. We also just did a review of Barbarian. Check that out.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah!
All right.